Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of my Marvel Legends collection, where I'm going to be taking you through the armors that I have for Iron Man. I don't have all of them, but these are some of the most important ones, or one of my favorite ones that I have been able to collect over the years. So we all know that there's an upcoming series called Armor Wars that's going to be starring Don Cheadle. The name Armor Wars is borrowed from a very famous graphic novel of Iron Man. Happens to be one of my favorites. I also have it, got it signed by the legend Bob Layton back in 2019 at Stanley Supercon in Riyadh. So without taking much of your time, I would like to take you through all of my action figures. First of all, this here is the original Mark I armor. As you can see, the mask can also come off, and you can see a very 60s Tony Stark. This was basically the armor which he made while he was imprisoned by the Mandarin, and you can see the attention to detail. The armor looks pretty much basic, and this in comics, Stark was able to build it from a box of scraps, as Obadiah Stane famously said in the MCU movie, in China, whereas in the movie in MCU he made that in Afghanistan. So this is Mark I. Now I'm a bit really bad when it comes to remembering all the labels of the armors. So this one here, the one that you see, is the Golden Avenger, the one that we saw in Avengers #1, because in comic books Captain America is not the founding member of the Avengers, rather it's Thor, Iron Man, Ant-Man and Wasp. So like the Mark I, this one also has the mask easily removed, and the color is golden. The articulation is just amazing. You can see that you can form any grip you want, just like in the Mark I. All fingers can be moved separately. So this is what it is. Then this is the armor that still remains my favorite, the one that remained part of Iron Man throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, and this one is still my favorite. So a much modern looking 80s action hero Iron Man, Tony Stark, can be seen. Then we have the Silver Centurion, another classic. This one, by the way, all of these action figures are ToyBiz, none of them are Hasbro. This was also a very important armor during the Armor Wars, and it has been part of Iron Man's story in the 70s, 80s. Pretty much it hasn't made a comeback till now, but it remains a cult classic. And as you can see here, you have Tony Stark. I have the armor that made headlines, that became really popular in the 90s, War Machine. But who is it behind the mask? It's James Rhodes. But the armor, the detail, you can see, it's just amazing. The black and silver, you have the repeater gun, you have these rocket launcher. It's just beautiful. With all the equipment that's there at the back, the articulation for almost every figure that I've shown you is just beautiful to look at. Okay, so next up, which one should I go with? Okay, this here is the armor designed by Tony Stark to avert any Asgardian threat. So it's basically modeled after the Asgardian android, which is part of Thor's Asgard realm. And this one also, the mask is removable. So we see Tony Stark. This one is not as articulated like the other ones, but still a very good collection to have. Then the ever famous Hulkbuster Iron Man, which we have seen in the Avengers Age of Ultron movie. This is one of the most favorite armors that were ever produced by Tony Stark in the comic books. And you can see this is how we can find Tony Stark sitting inside. This figure has a lot of similarities with the X-Men Juggernaut action figure, the old one that was developed by Marvel Legends. Pretty much the same physique, the height, everything, plus the helmet. Here in this one they've used the plastic, hard plastic one, whereas in Juggernaut it's a bit like rubber. And then last but certainly not the least, the Iron Man armor from the early to mid 2000s, the one that was part of the Avengers Disassembled storyline. Does the mask come off? Yes, it does. So we can see it over here. Really cool, slick, articulated action figure, and it comes with a prop as well. The prop shows Iron Man beating all the Ultron droids and walking through the wall. So it looks really amazing once you place it in front of once you place the this Iron Man action figure in front of it. Just to give you guys an idea. So this is how it is. As I've said, all of these action figures are from ToyBiz. None of them have been from Hasbro. Hasbro has done some marvelous jobs recently, and I'm really looking forward to getting one of those action figures, especially the stealth armor, which I unfortunately have always missed. It's so rare. And then followed by the 80th anniversary Iron Man classic armor, which is drawn heavily on this action figure, the one that's my favorite for all time. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. The beauty about these action figures is that I can recreate all the classic fighting panels, interesting panels, whether it's between Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Iron Man, Hulk, you name it. And the articulation, it's the thing that makes them stand out. So I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this episode, and make sure that you like my page, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the videos, share them, and I hope to see you next week with another episode about my Marvel Legends. Thank you.